Hey guys, this is Rev. Today I have for you this. Come on. Hey guys, this is Rev. Today I have for you this 4x4 glass center funnel door. We also know it as Mumbo Jumbo's coolest vault door. As you see, it's just like a normal funnel door, but has glass in the middle, and also these blocks here are filled in, so it's seamless from the back as well. Just watch it open now. The animation isn't great, but it's still not slow or anything. One thing you might notice is that there's actually a folding extender both on the top and the bottom, just because of how big the layout was, but how little wiring was actually needed. Then we can take a look at it from the back. So there's a folding triple like that. Let's do that again. As well as on the bottom, there's a piston tape or a piston worm that folds in, just like that. So we can get straight to the tutorial. Okay, so to start with the tutorial, you're going to need a 10 wide, 2 deep, and 15 high area. And your floor block is going to be 6 blocks off the ground. So you can get started with the piston layout. You're going to find the middle lengthwise and put 2 pistons there. That'll be the bottom of your worm. So I'm just going to get any block, a door block, and the glass. So above this you're going to have just 2 of any block. Then you're going to have your door block, 2 layers of glass, or 2x2 of glass, and then another layer on top, and this will be at your floor level right here. Additionally, for the bottom, you're going to have 2 sticky pistons out to the side like this, with sticky pistons attached to them right here. You're going to have pistons right here, at right below the floor level, that will push blocks up. And I'm just going to finish building the frame of the door right now. Just like that. So you're going to have 2 sticky pistons right here. You're going to have a row of 3 pistons on the side like this. And you're going to have on the back side a double extender at the bottom block of the side of the frame, as well as 3 normal pistons above it. On the top you're going to have a row of 4 pistons like that. And up here we also have our folding triple extender. So you're going to start with pistons right there, which will push these ones in, and it extends, as well as a double extender up top here. And then 2 blocks above that, you're going to have 2 normal pistons like that. So that is our complete layout for the door. Okay, so we're going to start by building our triple at the top. To do so, we're going to have a stone button here with an observer facing into this piston here. And below that, it's going to be a dropper. This will be bud powered by this button up here, and the observer coming out of it. This will go into this dust here, which will power this block and power this piston. So that's how we get both these pistons to fire at the exact same time. And then from here we're going to have, I'm just going to remove these blocks for now, because these pistons are going to get pulsed a ton accidentally. You're going to have an observer coming up this top piston here, and the 4-tick repeater. This is going to go into an observer below it, and an observer facing into the extender. From there, you're going to have a note block right here, with an observer facing down. Then you'll have a dropper here. This will also act as a movable block, so these pistons can't be pushed out. and then an observer facing down, and one into the side here. This will power the lowest point for our triple. From this piston, you're just going to have an observer facing up and into the extender. So I have two observers here facing into each other. We're also going to have here, powered by this note block, a redstone dust. It'll power this piston, which is a falling edge. So this observer attached to this piston will power this one right here. And we'll just have another observer facing into here, which will power this piston. This will also later be used to power our sides. So now we just want to mirror the same thing on the other side. So we have our 4-tip repeater facing in here, and our observers facing into each other. Note block, observer, dropper, or dispenser. Either one's fine, but I like to use droppers because they're cheaper. And then 2 more observers here. Then we have our falling edge again, and an observer facing in to that piston. So if we activate this, this should work perfectly fine. And just forgot to put the pistons back in here. So now if we try it again, see it fully extends and also fully retracts. Okay, so one mistake that I made was that this part right here has to be moved down 1 block, just like this. So we're going to have this piston here. This will be, instead of powered by the dust, it'll be powered by the block the dust is on. And this observer here will actually be detecting the piston on its head. Just make sure that these observers are down here when the door isn't activated. And then, so now we're going to move on to the bottom section. And so to power the side pistons here, we're just going to have a redstone dust which will power these, and this also has to be a lamp because it's going to power this double here. And there will be an observer coming from the lamp, which will also go into a piston below the double, which will be bud powered. And from here, you're going to have 1 block below the redstone block attached to it. There's going to be a normal piston, which will update the sticky piston right here. And from that, we're going to have 1 observer facing up and 1 facing to the side into a block, which will power this piston right here. We're going to have 2 rails, and then 2 more observers facing up again. So I'm just going to build the same thing on the other side. So piston, redstone block, updater piston here. This one here has to be sticky for later, because we have an observer here. Then observer facing here into a block, rails, and then observers facing up. So now for the side pistons and the pistons on the top. From this dust here, we're going to power a normal piston, and we'll have an observer detecting its head. That goes into a note block facing, then another observer facing up, a redstone dust, and an observer that will power this side. We just want to mirror the same thing on the other side. And one thing you might notice that this dust here is right next to this piston here. So in order to make it so it doesn't power it and mess stuff up, we're going to have a detector rail right here that will redirect it so it only points into this observer. And then below that, we're going to have another piston right there. And this will go into an observer, and then a sticky piston. We're going to have a cauldron here. And just make sure to fill that with water. Do the same thing on this side. And so fill it with water, and that will be used for later. So to finish off the piston worm, we're going to have a torch burnout down here. So right in this corner, and this will be activated when this observer here extends, which will give a pulse to this block here and update the torch. From that, we're going to have a piston here with an observer detecting its head going into a block. We're also going to have a note block right below it, which will update the bottom pistons. On here, we're also going to have a rail, and that will be used for these three observers here, which will power this block, and this rail will update the pistons. You can do the same thing on this side too. Like that. And so that's almost all of the bottom done. Now in order to extend these pistons out, we're just going to have observers which will detect the door blocks here. So when this bottom part extends, these observers will give a pulse and push these pistons in. And same thing when it gets pushed down, you'll give another pulse and tell these observers, these pistons to pull the warm pistons back. And just to make sure that these pistons here don't extend in. Yep. Just to make sure these pistons here don't extend and make it so they're impossible to push, we're just going to have two immovable blocks right there to stop that. Now, lastly, what we want to do is, from these cauldrons, we're going to have a comparator, then a repeater, and a dust, and this will just power these bottom pistons here. And detecting the output from the computer, we're going to have one observer which faces up. So now, you can activate the door, and it'll close. And I forgot, you want to have observers right here which will activate these pistons here in the front. Then it'll open too. Watch the closing again. And opening. Yep. Thanks for watching.